Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk a little bit about the increased sensitivity that many of us feel when we wake up. And in a sense, it can feel like the volume is being turned up, like the experience of life becomes more intense, and we become more like aware of how things really make us feel. So you can say that before awakening or when we are more unconscious, we just go through life in a sense that is, we just deal with it, we just suck it up and we just continue in a sense. And after awakening, this gets harder because we become more aware of, you can say, the toxicity or you can say that the feelings that are not coming from love or oneness consciousness, because this is now more of our natural state when we tap into our true nature and we feel, you can say, the new normal becomes love and it becomes oneness and empathy, you can also say, then the meeting with the world can be really challenging. It can be really hard and it can feel very toxic on our bodies even, and we can react more than we used to. And it's not because there's something wrong with us. It's not because we have been it's not because we had something wrong happened. It's rather because something right happened. And what used to feel normal doesn't really feel natural anymore. And because the true nature or your true nature, what you are, it's authentic, it's real, and it comes from the sense of it comes from love, really. And it gets really hard to sort of try to fit into something that's not coming from that place. So it can feel quite, you can say, narrow, or how to put this, like trying to fit into this world, for example, trying to belong, trying to be a certain way. It can go from a little bit uncomfortable to extremely like impossible almost. You can't create yourself into something inauthentic to avoid, really. It's usually the reason why we change ourselves to become something that others will accept, is to avoid rejection. So it's really coming from fear, and it's coming from shame and all the things that we don't want to feel. So we sort of make ourselves into an inauthentic being or a way of being. And it can become really uncomfortable when we wake up. And instead of, so when we face this world, which is, Eckhart Tolle calls it an insane world. And it is in many ways, because we have so much emotional, we don't know how to deal with our emotions. We don't know how to live from a place of, there's so much ignorance in this world, and there's so much pain in this world. And the way we deal with it is very inauthentic. And it's a way to sort of cope with it. And it doesn't come from a place of love and truth. So when we face this world, it can become really challenging, and other people can also react to us in a sense, because we might sort of, if they're used to people playing a certain role, and when we become authentic with the world, which we're almost forced to after awakening, because it gets really, again, almost impossible to play this role with life, with other people, to fit into this identity, to get approved of. It becomes so, you can say, it fades, and then the love or the great feeling of being authentic is so much better than you could say, the substitute, which is to be accepted by others. So in this process, we can have other people around us react in a negative way, because they're used to having control, especially people that need a little bit of control over others, especially people that might have narcissistic traits, and also maybe a lot of their own, like you can say that they're more unconscious. They have a lot of emotional baggage that they haven't addressed. And we all have that at some extent, but before you wake up, you usually have a lot more, and you don't know that it's coming from you, so you project it onto others. That's very common. And we can still do that after awakening, but you can say it's more normal before awakening, before you start to look at yourself, you can say, or your own patterns. So in that case, I think it's important to be aware of if you attract a certain person into your life that has similar patterns. Maybe it's a certain type of a boss, like a very authoritarian boss, or maybe it's a partner or friendships, or maybe also situation, a challenging type of situation. I think it's important to be aware of that, and how you become in that situation, because all these patterns that we attract can be you can say transformed or healed or integrated, so we don't have to live in a constant battle with that situation. So you can say that life will challenge us, and it will show us what is within us that we still haven't integrated. So when we live, imagine that if you have you start a new job and you have a boss that doesn't really he doesn't like you, or she doesn't like you, and you can feel that they're angry at you, and you can feel that their energy really is negative towards you. So I think it's important in that case to give in. The moment we try to reject something is when it persists. When we try to bypass and ignore is when it persists. So in that case, I think it's important to lean in and get to know our own reaction in that situation, because we can't control how other people behave, but in a sense, we can integrate our own response to it. And that sounds easier than it is, because if it was easy, then there wouldn't be a problem for anyone, right? So this is when we feel. This is when we feel the situation, and we can also let go of the certain type of identity that we might unconsciously take on as a protection in that situation. So maybe you take to protect yourself, you start playing the role of you can say a people pleaser. Maybe you become very submissive, or maybe you become like trying to prove yourself. You become the confident one, all the types of roles that we take on in an attempt to create an image to the world that will protect us from our vulnerability, which is usually what's hiding underneath. So I think it's important to investigate the identities showing up, the roles that you start to play, or what you take yourself to be in that situation, the person that you step into, because that usually changes from person to person and situation to situation. And also to integrate, to heal, we have to feel. So feeling the emotions, and also becoming aware of the false self in that situation, you can say. And that was what I had to say for today, and I hope it was helpful. And yeah, you can check out my free masterclass, and I will link to that in the description below. And until next time, much love and namaste.